Welcome back, everybody. This is a big, very special episode of Peaked in College, episode 30, 30. It's a big one, big milestone. Uh, it's a good milestone in life to turn 30. So we decided to have an old man on this episode. And that old man is our good buddy, Mr. Alex Albaugh. Welcome aboard, buddy. Welcome on to Peaked in College. It's long overdue. You're a great friend. You're a great listener of the podcast. You give me good feedback. You have good complaints. They're reasonable. So it's been long overdue. I want to have you on, listen to your thoughts. You haven't seen Craig in a long time, so welcome back, buddy.
Appreciate it. It's a really quite the intro. Am I lagging at all, or do you guys see me okay?
Now you're
Crystal
good.
clear.
Okay, cool. I'm lagging a little bit on my end, but as long as y'all can see me, um, definitely have a lot of good things to say about the pod. I definitely have a lot of truths to say about the pod. So I appreciate you always, being open-minded and hearing me. But yeah, definitely really, I was nervous. I'm still a little nervous, but I'm excited to do this with you guys tonight. Thanks for having me.
Well, when I word it as you shit talking the pod and you word it as your truths, it almost burns worse. So just a heads up on that.
I don't lie. I don't lie.
I'm worried now.
Yeah. No, you're
Yeah.
good. It's mostly the calls are mostly starting with, Dave, this is what you could be doing better. Dave, you could be a little more positive. You could expand on this
That
thing.
part.
You could blah blah blah. Yeah. My dad had the same feedback. He said I'm too negative. So
You are.
starting out, the things that grind my gear. No, I'm just kidding. But
I'm
we
ready for those too. So
we
whenever
definitely
you
have to
want to jump in,
we definitely have to cover that. Do you want to go first with some of those? That's a good way to start. Let's start negative. Why don't we get the negatives out of the way and then we move straight positive vibes after that?
shout out positive vibes. Okay. Um, I do have grind my gears. Craig, do you want to go first, or does the
No, you
guest
go first. I
honor?
don't have any.
Oh, okay, okay,
I'm
okay.
good.
Nothing
I'm
grinds his
chilling.
gears, dude. What is this, your first episode?
I know, right? Yeah. Well, maybe I thought we could get something out of him, but all right. Well, my first grinds my gears happened about an hour ago. And it's when people say, not trying to be, and then they are. So, for example, they'll be like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but, and then they'll be a jerk. Or, I'm not trying to be like uh, disrespectful, but, and then they're disrespectful. It's just like,
If
say
you lead
it.
with
Don't be
that,
scared. Just say it. Any thoughts on that, Dave?
Yeah, this feels personal. This feels like a personal attack, considering that I texted you something like that about an hour ago. But
I was
um,
just,
it's all love. When I say it, it's because I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to have it come off wrong. We're over text,
but
so
you're
over
still
text,
saying it.
things can be misconstrued over text. Like if we were talking on the phone, I would just tell you straight up. But like over text, I was sort of like trying to cover my ass. Like, okay, I don't want him to be pissed. I just want him to understand that like this will not work. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I hear you. That just, you're not the only one. People just say stuff like that a lot, and they'll be like, I'm not trying to be a bearer of bad news, but, and then they'll drop bad news. And it's like, you
and
should just
literally, whenever
say
you say
it.
that, whatever comes after that is literally confirming what they said they weren't going to do.
Do you think it's
It's like,
almost like warming you up a little bit? It's like a little bit of foreplay to whatever bad news you're about to deliver or whatever mean thing you're about to say. It's like, all right, just a heads up, like this is gonna really hurt your feelings, but like, I don't know.
no, I hear you.
You're
It's just
preheating the oven. You're preheating the oven.
there you go. All right, that's what you can tell yourself. I would say the other grinds my gears, and this is a minor one. I went over my grinds my gears with my mother, and she's like, "That's what you're gonna say." And so I really had to like, redo my grinds my gears. So another one is people who don't set their fantasy sports lineups. That's just a pet peeve of mine. They join a league, you're kind of dependent on them to set their lineup, and then they just don't. And it kind of screws over the rest of the league. It's happened to me so many times. There's not just one I'm thinking of, but it does grind my gears, if you're not, and that goes with anything, I guess. Joining stuff and then quitting halfway without like officially quitting. It's like a slow quit, like a soft quit.
And
Especially when
if
there's money involved.
oh yeah, money, I mean that's just you're flushing the money away.
Right.
Or like even worse in a fantasy league if you've ever had it where like some guy will be terrible halfway through the season, they'll give up, and then they'll like try to trade away some of their good players to like their buddies or something and just like totally try to sabotage the league. So we had to like come up with new commissioner rules where like we had to vote on trades and stuff because there was like two assholes in our league that would do things like this.
Yeah.
This is
I'm sorry, Craig.
without making this a full dynasty fantasy podcast. This is why dynasty leagues are the best, where you keep the same team year after year. Then you're incentivized to like you can't just you can tank a year and and build for the future, but everyone's trying to do that. So you're not going to ruin 1 year that's just auto renewed for everyone next year. Everyone has the same long game in mind.
That's fair.
Right.
I don't have any dynasty leagues, but that's a fair argument for sure. Also, so like to your thing, Alex, like setting your lineup is the easiest thing you can do. I wake up every morning. I open the Yahoo Sports app. I hit start current active players. I scroll through and make sure like they didn't screw me because sometimes they screw you. You got to make sure that they do it right. So I substitute who I want in the lineup. That's it. If I want to pick up some free agents and drop some trash players on my team, I will do that. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. At least click that start active players button. That's all you got to do, folks.
That's what grinds my gears. Having Yahoo put C plus players starting and having A players on the bench. Like that does not make sense to me. It should be the best, highest ranked player. I literally have a top 10 player, Julio Rodriguez, Seattle, shout out Seattle, on my bench. What is going on? So really, like you said, they do, in your words, screw you, and you got to pay attention.
I have noticed that. Like, that's a great segue into bringing up that I won our fantasy basketball league, by the way. So thank you for congratulating me in advance. But that happened a lot in basketball. I would hit start active players, and I would look, and in their defense, there's more starting players than there are lineup spots. But like Anthony Edwards he's a top 5 player in the NBA. He would be on the bench for like Andrew Bogut or some bullshit, in my utility spot. And I'm just like,
NBA.
what is going on? So then you'd have to manually sub those people out and pick your lineup. But so I guess you can't really trust the start all active players, but if you're going to be lazy, at least start somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna be like me and Dave, checking it in the morning and afternoons and nights, at least check it once a day.
Yeah. That's
I
what
have
I'm
a lot of
saying.
grinds my gears with this league, bro.
Yeah. Craig, he likes to bitch about the league, but that's because he finished what, dead last, second last?
Bro, I had the
He had a
fourth or fifth
comeback.
most
And he had
scored
high
points
points
in the
against
regular
him.
season, and I didn't make the playoffs. I scored more than half the teams.
And you had the highest points against you.
And that's why I lost,
came
bro.
back.
I literally, yeah.
You did really good for your first year, I will say. And you
I-
didn't quit. You came back. You're not grinding our gears.
No. I get one more word on this. I like fantasy basketball a lot, but categories fantasy basketball is so much more fun, bro. I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's a good time.
Dave,
I think it's a more enjoyable
categories.
format.
Baseball better or is points better?
I like points better for baseball. Maybe categories would be better I think basketball, it's more simple.
Maybe we can do that. Maybe next year we could do a category. I still want to do the points league, but we could add a categories league and then we can see if Craig still gets last or not.
That's Alex's idea to fix something like, okay, we got this league. We got 9 of the 10 people aren't invested. So we got to add another league. Like, it's just we got to put more on these people's plates, man. They're not picking up.
You guys are only in 7 leagues. Let's bump that up. Rookie numbers.
Yeah. He's like, I think the best solution to solving this problem of people being lazy is adding more shit to their plate.
That doesn't
and
make
fix injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, any fantasy sports league that does not have numerous IL spots grinds my gears. I was in another league, there's one IL spot. And I had like 4 really good players, like day to day or questionable or month to month, week to week, that I couldn't drop them, but like I had nothing to do with them. So I finished like towards the bottom of this league, and I had texted in like the group chat. I'm like, dude, we got to fix this problem. If we don't get more IL spots next year, like I'm out. I don't need these problems. And someone was like, we're not going to change it mid-season. And I was like, I get that, but also why not? Like, is it that big of a deal to add some IL spots? Like, it doesn't really hurt anybody in the league. Like, it doesn't really benefit anybody crazy. Like, it just helps people not get hurt as much.
And you don't have to drop people when people do get hurt. That's kind of the point. Like in real life, I know it's fantasy, but in real life, you're not cutting people. Like if people get hurt, you call up someone else. Like, why can't I do that in fantasy? Why do I gotta drop them? Like, it's not real.
What if it was like what if professional sports leagues were like horse racing and like one guy like Jokic twists his ankle and they just take him out and just shoot him in the head.
Jeez, Dave.
Like if you miss like any
What?
games, they just have to take you
That
out.
that came out of left field, but I'm with you. I'm with you. Add IL spots.
Wouldn't that be crazy? It's just a thought. I'm just spitballing here.
Put a little pressure on these athletes to perform.
Not
And
perform.
they're
If
hurt.
no, I'm not saying if he misses a bunch of shots, they shoot him
Don't
in the
get
head.
hurt. If you get hurt, we'll kill you. But if you keep
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
and you play hurt, you're good.
Yeah. So then you would
Bring
see
back
people
the
just
50s again.
Hey,
People would
you
just
just
be
tore your ACL like 3 years ago.
they be in there good. They'd be in the game going through it. And then you'd see
They
me out there.
would.
If it was life or death, you'd see me out there.
Ain't no what do they call them in the NBA? Not rest days, but what's Kawhi Leonard do a lot?
Something management, load management.
Rest load management.
Yeah, there ain't be no load management with Dave as commissioner.
Yeah. Load management is crazy. That's what I hate about the NBA. I mean,
I'm a pro of load management. Before you go on your rant,
Yeah.
I do think there should be load management.
No, fuck
You
load
can go on
management.
you can go on your rant first, and then
Load management does not sound like something that NBA players that are making millions and millions of dollars should be needing to do. Like that sounds like something that porn stars need to do is load management. Like NBA players, they're getting paid millions of dollars to play games. Put them on the go on the court and play games.
what if
Plus,
you're
like
hurt?
you got the Kobe mentality. Kobe would always be like, I know no matter how hurt I am, there's kids coming to the game to watch me play. I'm gonna play. And he always get out there as much as he could. Like torn Achilles, yeah, he couldn't play. Broken fingers, put it like wrap that up. I'll get out there and shoot left-handed if I need to. Like more players, I wish had that mentality, but it's just not the way it is anymore.
I have things to say, but I'll let you go first, Greg.
I don't know, man. The incentive is for players to like make their money. Like they're not going to risk their career of re-injury, and so like unless you can change that incentive, it's not going to happen. And maybe I think a shorter season could be beneficial. There'd be more emphasis on
I would do that.
like, but that's why that's how they make enough money. So like if you tell every player like let's reduce games by 20%, but you get paid 20% less, they're not going to want to do that. Owners aren't going to want to do that. So I don't know. I understand the sentiment and I agree. I went to go see Giannis play one day and he had a kid and didn't play. I understood why he didn't play, but
That's a little different than
no, for sure. But it sucks to go pay or
Kobe
pay
had
to
the
see
baby
someone.
in the arena. What are you talking about? That's what Dave would say.
Yeah,
But it sucks
he
to
did in the
pay.
locker room. Shout out Vanessa.
I don't know. I have yet to hear a good solution to load management, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Stop
But
doing
it
it.
sucks.
That's my solution. If you're injured, that's different, bro. I'm talking load management. I'm not talking injuries. Like the injury
Load
thing was
management is so you don't get injured again. That's the whole point. You're half injured, so you take days
no,
off, so you don't get
that's not
injured.
load management.
You get
That's
wear
resting.
down, and at the end of the season, you've just not taken any days off, and then you get hurt. But if you're taking days off and you're managing the stress you're putting on your body as a professional athlete,
The definition of load management is like, okay, we had back to backs. So LeBron's gonna rest out tonight because he played 42 minutes last night. That's load management. It's not LeBron twisted his ankle, so we're gonna rest him tonight so that he doesn't worsen it.
it's we're gonna rest him so he doesn't twist his ankle.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
hear what you're
bullshit. Yeah,
saying.
you
But he's
can.
more
That's bullshit. You
susceptible.
shouldn't proactively rest
It
to
is though.
prevent
That's the whole
injury.
point. They're protecting the investment. The investment is worth $150 million, and we're tired of our investments getting hurt. So we're gonna not run them so freaking hard, and we're gonna, And my other point is the owners are making like $15 billion a year, and the salary cap is like 200 million. So yeah, they're making $15 million a year, but the owners are making 10 times that. So I hear, well, actually, no, there is the agreement where they have to split profits, but I do think that the players are not like the owners are making a lot more money than the players are.
This is a completely different argument. Like,
I know that was my other. I think load management should still, but my other argument for it is that it is an investment. You do got to protect your body and your money. And look at Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Neither of them have been healthy in the playoffs for the last 4 years. And what is the Clippers could have won a championship if they were both healthy, and they never have been. So it's just like, who's healthy in the playoffs, right? If Giannis would have been healthy, they probably could have beat the Celtics, but he was hurt. And what if? So that's why I like, playing 82 games is a little overrated.
But the top four, both of the conference finals teams, or all four of them, like the West Conference Championship and the East Conference Championship, featured four teams that didn't load manage all year. Like Halliburton was banged up. He played through it. Celtics didn't load manage. Wolves didn't load manage, and neither did the Mavs. I guess Doncic had a couple load management games.
We're gonna have to look at statistics on that because I feel like they
I
may
don't know
not
the
have
stats.
why load managed, but I do feel like there were times they could have played that they didn't. I feel like it's across the NBA. I don't feel like it's a certain one team type of thing. And how do you manage it or how do you stop it? I don't know if shortening the season is the answer. I would do that, but then exactly you lose out on the money of the concessions and all that. So it's like I don't know, but I don't even remember the original point.
I don't fact check on this podcast, so that the point ends there.
Okay, sounds good.
Sorry about your Timberwolves, by the way. Both of you
It
guys
was a
are
fun
Timberwolves
season,
fans.
man.
I know I got the
Best.
old school Timberwolves, and then I got the old school logo here too.
Sorry, guys.
Coming back,
Wait, I didn't know you were a big Wolves fan, Alba.
Yeah, huh?
I didn't know you were a big Wolves fan.
Oh yeah. My dad, when they came to Minneapolis, had season tickets for 2 years. The first 2 years they were in Minneapolis, and then I've been to like 4 or 5 games, so nothing crazy, but yeah, Timberwolves fan, Cardinals fan, Packers fan. So
Okay.
I
Well, one of
do
those three is
want to
good.
make, huh?
One of those three teams was a good choice.
Yeah, where did you go for baseball?
He doesn't like baseball. Twins, I guess.
Yeah, I guess Twins. I mean, now Cubs. I live close enough, but I don't care about baseball.
Yeah. Yeah,
What'd
I
you
like
just grab? Oh, Karl
I
Anthony
love
Then
Series, but I
Towns.
got my bobblehead.
You should throw
Yeah.
that shit away. Karl
shout
Anthony
out Chad.
Towns.
They
I
do need
can't
to trade
stand
him.
Karl Anthony Towns.
That is dope.
Congratulations, though. Western Conference Finals, nothing to hang your head on except for losing 4-1. Other than that,
You're
good
so
season.
zesty.
Good season. I think the Anthony Edwards, I love Anthony Edwards, but the Michael Jordan comparisons were crazy and way too premature. But shout out to Anthony Edwards. Great fantasy player. Great dynasty fantasy player that I drafted in like the 12th round.
Dang.
Shout out to Anthony Edwards.
That's what grinds my gears is that oh well, I just forgot it. There's just so much pressure being live on here. Like
It's
I
not
just
that
like
much pressure.
oh, I'm feeling it.
What's
Can't,
okay? I don't know what your grinds my gears, but that whole like Michael Jordan, Anthony Edwards
oh,
thing is
that's
often misconstrued. I think that like the comparison was supposed to be like Michael Jordan in his early years, like the mid 80s after he got drafted, and it wasn't like six-time NBA champion Michael Jordan. I think it was like supposed to be like how he was starting out. Like he's really competitive, he's young, he's athletic, he can shoot, he can lead the team at a young age. Like I think that was a comparison. And then like when it was said, it was compared like this Anthony Edwards kid that hasn't won anything in the NBA is already Michael Jordan, who has 6 rings, like 6-0 in the finals. You know what I mean? Like I think it got like misconstrued.
I'm with you.
Yeah, Edwards is if you put Edwards back in the 80s, he's better than Jordan. So that's my take.
That's crazy.
Bro, people have gotten so much better at basketball.
I agree with Craig. The
Like-
guys today would kill back in the 80s.
Like straight up. Like Jordan wasn't even in the NBA at like, I mean, Edwards is 22. Like, but no, I mean, I get it.
That's what I'm saying. He's been in the league for 3 years. That's what you're saying. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like but I don't like the comparisons. That's what I wanted to touch on earlier. It happens all across sports. It's sensationalized. A guy has a good series, and now we're comparing him to Michael Jordan. Like that is wild. And he hasn't even won anything. It kind of goes along with kind of like the Caitlin Clark hype. Breanna Stewart won 4 championships in a row, and they talked about her, right? And I do think it's because Caitlin Clark's a guard. I think like some of the Steph Curry effect, short people can relate to Curry pulling up from deep. People, women, white people can really resonate with what Caitlin Clark is doing versus the rest of the NBA is there's not a lot of white people. So like I get that. But I also like she didn't win a championship. I'm from Iowa, so it's kind of like my mom, my family would be very disappointed in me right now talking crap about Caitlin Clark. My grandparents would be disappointed in me. Um, but I've the whole time said, she's good. She went to Dowling. My sister went to Dowling. She's from like if I ever saw her, I hope she doesn't see this clip. But I don't know. I
She
just
won't.
think
She
she's a
definitely won't.
little over sensationalized a little bit. She's good. She's great. She's number one overall pick worthy for sure. But I'm kind of like the Taylor Swift. They're just a little too much.
Craig, what's
I
your
feel
take?
like no, I've heard a lot of people who like are from Iowa have that take that like I'm not in that bubble, so like I don't hear the hype as much. But like some of my friends that live in Des Moines are like they're just sick of it, and like everyone thinks that she was going to come in and be the best player in the WNBA, and like to think that she was going to be a top 5 player day one was ridiculous. Like she probably will be someday.
Right.
We're not saying that, but like yeah, for sure, it gets a little annoying when like she's really fun to watch. I'm a fan, but then like she's not coming in the best player on day one, and it's going to take a lot of work and to her style, like that heliocentric, like you're making every pass or taking the shot is like not super common in the WNBA. So I know it'll be fun to see it evolve, but she's gonna be good. But yeah, she's not the GOAT right now.
I do think that like there is something to be said though for how much interest and money she's making the
It's
WNBA.
dope.
So it's like, is she good enough to be on the Olympic team? Probably not. But I saw Gilbert Arenas had a really good take. It's like, why not put her on there? Because now everybody's gonna watch the Olympics, and it's
They're
like
gonna win.
they're gonna win anyway.
Yeah.
Like have her and Angel and even the Brink girl, have them all on there. That way everybody pays attention. They don't even need to play that much. They're not the best players. They're just popular on social media. They're all well, yeah, it's kind of this day and age of social media impact, and that's their generation.
Well, it was like putting Christian Leitner on the dream team, right? It's like, did he belong on that? Hell no. But like he was the most popular player in college basketball. So you have all the college basketball fans that were either Duke fans or just college basketball fans in general, or even if you hated Christian Leitner and you wanted to watch him fail. Okay, so this could be translated over to Caitlin Clark. It's like put him on the team. He can learn from all these guys. It'll be beneficial for him. He's playing in the Olympics. He's playing with the best players in the world. So it's good for him. It's good for the viewership because then you have all the college basketball fans that are paying attention and watching that. So basically, you have increased fan and increased like watching, even if whether they're supporting him or they're hating on him, doesn't matter. It's good for it. Like, I guess the one negative would be they're taking away roster spots from somebody that might like deserve it a little bit more. But ultimately, like, one, has that shit ever mattered? Ever? Never. So if we're gonna try to make some more money, try to get some more viewership, especially for like the women's basketball Olympics team, put Caitlin Clark, the most popular women's player currently in the WNBA, on the team. It's kind of a no-brainer to me. I thought that was kind of crazy.
I see what you're saying, but Christian Leitner turning out to be a bust doesn't really help your point.
Well, what do you mean? That it's kind of like the same idea, right? It's like prematurely putting them on a team that maybe they didn't belong on, but it was like we're putting it off potential, we're putting it off attention,
Get hype.
viewership, like hype, like exactly. I mean, like this conversation, we forgot to mention the fact that Caitlin Clark is the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history, men's or women's. And like she didn't play 5 years, so like she could have blown that out of the water, never to be touched again. But she decided to go to the WNBA because it was the next step. Like besides winning a championship, she had done everything she could in like like women's NCAA basketball. I know you said she didn't win a title, but
Besides winning a championship,
back to
that's
back.
not the only thing to do.
But she took University of Iowa to two
True,
back-to-back national
true.
championships, and like lost to the LSU the
There's a
first
lot of
year.
women who've actually won, and we're not really talking about them like
Yeah,
we
but
are.
they're
Those
like
teams are
kind of
so
irrelevant.
stacked.
Huh?
Yeah, like the teams that win in college basketball historically are just completely stacked teams. Like you don't see a lot of teams in college sports that like there's one really good player that like carries the team to a championship. I mean, it used to happen a little bit. Like the one that pops into my head first right away is like Melo on Syracuse, right? But like I'd have to do a dive into the rosters of like women's and men's teams that have won championships recently. But to me, it's like Caitlin Clark took a team that was way like
She did by herself.
Yeah, basically did it by herself. I mean, and that's impressive in itself. Lost to a really good LSU team that was stacked, and then beat that really good LSU team the following year to like get redemption. Like upset a phenomenal South Carolina women's team 2 years ago, and then lost to that LSU team, and then like lost to that South Carolina undefeated powerhouse team in the championship the following year. It's like she kind of did everything she could, you know what I mean? And the fact that those games were even close is pretty impressive.
For
I agree with
sure.
all that.
But you guys both like hit the nail on the head. Like to expect her to come in to the WNBA and like start balling out instantly is kind of crazy. And then the fact that they're like shitting on her for having struggles early on is outrageous. But it also like comes with her play style. Like you said, Craig, she like plays AAU ball sometimes and tries to play like ISO ball when like that next step in that league, she needs to be more of like a team player and like let the game come to her instead of forcing it like she was like in college, is kind of a whole different game.
That's what I'm excited to see, like how that evolves, because like there aren't as many players who like play like that, and I think she'll, eventually figure it out and play that style successfully.
And
But
have you guys watched an Indiana Fever game?
They're really bad.
Their team is
they're
so
so bad.
bad. Like watching it is painful. Even that like Aaliyah Boston, who was drafted #1 overall last year, like back-to-back #1 overall picks, that's a red flag. But she is bad too. Like just watching. I mean, maybe like there's a lot of development there to be had, but like their roster is so bad. Which is why it would have been exciting to see her play for the Olympic team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, she's not good enough. She shouldn't be on there. And then it's like, ooh, but we're talking big picture, attention, money, growth of the sport, and whether, people like it or not, she should be. But then it's like, do you include her and not Angel? Like, no, because I
I
don't.
would, yeah.
There's no way. I feel like too much backlash. There's no way you can fucking
What do you mean no backlash? Is the #1
But it's
overall
like
pick and
I
the
feel like
all-time
they
leading
are tied
scorer.
together a little bit. Like,
Well, because they've had two head-to-head battles on the national stage, and they're both rookies this season. But besides that, like player-wise, they're completely different. And like Caitlin Clark, I think brings a lot more attention, and I think is the all-time leading scorer and was the #1 overall pick. I think that's the difference. I think if the say that Angel Reese was the #1 overall pick, and then Caitlin Clark was still the all-time leading scorer, and you brought Caitlin Clark, who was the #2
and
overall pick, and didn't bring Angel Reese, that's a crazy move. You see what I'm saying?
Angel, wasn't she like the fifth pick? She wasn't even like.
I'm sorry, I went off of popularity.
I see. I
If
see.
we're not going top 15, neither of them should make it.
Yeah.
If we're
Yeah.
going off growth for the sport, do you just choose Caitlin Clark and not Angel Reese? And I feel like Angel has people definitely villainize her. Dave Portnoy is a clown. I just had to throw that in there. He's catching a stray. You can catch a stray from me any day.
He's
But
not watching, bro. It's fine.
it's like he always has the most to say about women. He always has the most to say about her. And it's like she's just playing basketball, like being competitive, being competitive like guys. And it's like she gets so much hate. And it's like I don't understand the Angel Reese hate, and then it's like on the flip side, people love Kaylin. It's just like it definitely feels there's racial motives there, but that can be for another pod.
I mean, it certainly could be, but that's kind of what I'm saying. If like Angel Reese was #1 overall, Caitlin Clark was 2 or 3, whatever, like Leitner was 3, and then you brought Caitlin Clark and not Angel Reese, then I'd be like, okay, this looks fishy. You know what I mean? But like to me, when you go down the checklist, Caitlin Clark beats Angel Reese in every point of that checklist. Maybe I think your comparison to
What
me,
are
like
your checklists?
to me,
What are
you're
you?
a more
Because
even
popularity,
hold on,
I
hold
feel like
on.
Angel, like
Time out. To me, your list of comparing, I would compare like Cameron Brink to Angel Reese. I don't think Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are in the same stratosphere, dude.
stratosphere as in talent of basketball player or as in pull of attention?
Both.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. I do feel like Kaylin Clark needed a villain. She needed somebody to go like she would have blown up. Like first of all, the whole scoring most points ever really isn't impressive to me because people don't play 4 years. So it's like it's impressive. She scored
Women
the most
do.
ever. She's an
Not to be
all-time
sexist,
great.
women do.
Huh?
I said not to be sexist, but women do.
True.
And men did for a long
Not the
time.
good ones. maybe, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I'm kind of getting off the rails a little bit here, out of my specialty, but
Hey, we were a
normally,
gray squad.
Huh?
Yeah,
We're the gray
we're all
squad.
gray squad. We all respect women's hoopers. Like, this is not a trash talk. Like, the fact that we've discussed them for
Absolutely.
15
We've been
minutes, we're
supporting women's
trying
basketball for everybody else.
exactly. We're trying to uplift, but I'm just having this is a good conversation discussing. I want to like hear you guys' thoughts on it, but those are my opinions at least.
I agree with you mostly, David. I think Caitlin's a hemisphere above in terms of talent and pull as well. But Angel is, I think, going to be really good too. And I think she's really popular and I enjoy watching her. And I kind of like the smack talk. And also, I think Cameron Brink is sweet. I kind of want to get a jersey.
Yo, Craig's got a crush on Cameron Brink.
I was
But
gonna say,
For sure, for sure.
but
Yeah,
no, I
she's
like
sweet.
Alex, I agree. I mean, I think like Angel Reese is
I
an
think Caitlin
important.
Clark's way better. I'm not saying talent wise. I don't think Angel should have been drafted higher. Like I think she fell to 6, but I'm just saying in terms of like, I don't know. I feel like she's kind of being undervalued, I guess. But I'm not, it's like Caitlin's more of everything, like you said. I'm not saying she's more pop. I'm not saying she's less popular or whatever. She's better, everything. But I do think the whole back, yeah, anyway. So yeah, we
I
are
mean,
supporters of women's
We're off the
sports,
rails.
women's rights, everything.
either way, my goat, regardless of our discussion today, my goat is Sabrina Ionescu. So,
Dude, she's so good too.
former Oregon Duck, all-time leader in NCAA history, men's or women's for triple doubles. Would have won a natty, but the season got shortened by a COVID year. So those are my opinions. And then it's fun to watch her play because she is on a really good team on New York, the Liberty,
They're
and their team is
stacked.
stacked. So they're loaded. So, and they have Brianna Stewart too, right? Didn't she go there in
Yeah.
free
They're
agency?
third though. I can't remember who it is, but their third
They're-
player is like I knew who it was, and they're really good.
Yeah, for sure. They're stacked.
I do want to throw in there that I've played fantasy women's basketball once, and I won the league. So I do know a little bit about women's basketball, but I probably been talking a little bit too much in this conversation for as much as I know. So I don't have anything else to say on the subject.
Yeah, but that's the point of a podcast is to talk about shit that you don't really know much about.
Or you should be talking about no
Yeah.
expertise.
Yeah. Like, this is just a platform where we can just talk. Like, they're not going to have me on ESPN to talk about my like women's basketball knowledge, so I'm going to talk about it here.
That the Liberty and Suns play this weekend, and I watched like half of it, and it was a sick game. Like it was really fun.
Yeah, it's like I think it's fun to watch. Like, watching the Fever play is not fun to watch.
Yeah,
Watching like good teams like the Aces, like the Liberty, like those teams are fun to watch.
and the Lynx.
The Lynx, I guess.
I
Not
bet
since
I
Maya Moore
was
was
at a
gone.
WNBA championship game when the
That's-
Lynx won it. When Maya Moore was there. Yeah, I had a
How much
Maya
did
Moore
they
t-shirt.
how
all
much did
that?
they pay you to go?
Shut up. Those jokes are old. But that's,
I'm-
that's
Someone's clipping that. You're getting canceled.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
yeah, we're definitely clipping that. We support women's sports. How much do they pay to get you to go to the championship?
That's dope though, Craig. That's dope. Who did they play?
Yeah. I don't. I'd have
He
to
was at the
go
game. He
back to
doesn't
the
remember, but I'm
archives.
gonna just
Bro, this was
Yeah,
like
let's turn this
this
on.
was
Yeah,
like
I'll David
2012,
on to Craig now.
2013. I can name who's on the Lynx. Simone Augustus, Maya. Like that team was sick.
Shout out Maya Moore.
Shout out Maya Moore. Yeah, that's true.
Caitlin Clark was in town like a couple weeks ago because Seattle has a women's team. Dang, I can't even remember what they're called. But I thought about going. It was
The Storm, Seattle Storm.
Seattle Storm. There you go. Stewie, or no, what's her name? Sue Bird. That's her name. What do they
Was
call
that
her?
was that the lady that was shit talking Caitlin Clark when she was in college? No, that was Diana Taurasi.
Yeah, what do they
Well,
call
they have
Sue
a
Bird?
show though.
Oh,
Huh?
those two do?
Yeah.
Damn. Well, yeah, they were shit talking Caitlin Clark. That's a whole nother discussion. It's like that all that
Oh,
stuff made
yeah.
no
I
sense.
When I watched the national championship, I saw their version of it. It's aren't they? They're married, right?
No, I don't think so. Bro,
No,
I don't think so.
Who is that? One of them is.
This is going south fast.
All right, we can change the subject, but I'm pretty
Hey,
sure I watched it. Them. 'cause
Penny
they
Taylor.
announced-
It's Penny Taylor. Diana Taurasi's married to Penny Taylor, a former women's basketball professional player.
That's okay.
But
knew it was a
yeah.
player. Who's her co-host?
Let me see who I think Sue Bird. Let me see who her spouse is. She used to be in a couple with Megan Rapinoe. Sue Bird. That's a power couple.
She spoke at Drake, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Boxbaum lecture.
Yeah.
That's all I got though.
Is that the
Um,
co-host? You don't know who the co-host is?
for Diana Taurasi's podcast or whatever.
Because they announced the national championship game.
Yeah, it's Sue Bird and
It is
Taurasi.
Sue Bird.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
those two. Sorry, it's like the Bird and Taurasi show.
there you go. Thanks for the save, Craig.
Yeah, I got you. We got 4 minutes left before we got to wrap up, and I think David has some good news to share. Congrats, David! You popped off in the last couple weeks. So
Yeah,
congratulations to you
I
and
came out of the
Jackie.
doghouse, proposed to Jackie, my lovely fiance, beautiful fiance. So now I'm gonna go back into the doghouse and because I waited until 4 minutes left in the podcast to mention it. So thank you guys. It's a big moment for me and a big moment for us. Super exciting. Excited to have you both at the wedding. So thank
Do
you.
we have a date?
No date, no date.
Have you
I'll let you
started
know.
planning yet?
Only a little bit. No thick details. I feel like getting a date and a venue is like step one. So whenever I figure that stuff out, I'll let you know so you can block off your calendars.
Oh yeah. Is it going to be in Nebraska? Do you think?
TBD on that.
Okay,
Looking at some places in Des Moines. So
cool,
that's like the number one choice right now, and seeing how that goes. I'm
sweet.
sure like I'm sure Jackie will find a way to sabotage all the Des Moines venues so that we have to go back to Omaha. But I'm gonna see how these tours go and hope that they go well and we can pick a spot in Des Moines.
Well, good luck. I'm sure you'll love all the planning and details.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be a blast. Everyone I've talked to says it's miserable, so we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna try to keep a positive attitude the whole time. I'm just try to be a good fiance and future husband, and be supportive in the process. I'm sure she doesn't want my opinion on most of the shit, so I'm gonna give my opinion when I'm asked and go from there.
Weddings
You're
are
so wise.
sometimes planning weddings sometimes are very stressful. So it's good that you have good partner that's gonna do most of the work for you.
I think that as this is coming to an end, I agree with you. She's gonna be a great partner. It's gonna be fun to plan, I think. That whatever we've talked about so far, it's been fun. We've enjoyed it together. Um, but anyways, I was gonna say unrelated, since this is coming to an end and we talked about fantasy sports for a long time and women's basketball for the other half of the podcast, we should make this like a little bit of like a recurring, like Alex, you should come on next episode. We'll do like a 2 or 3 part Alex Albaugh, Peaked in College sessions.
Well,
I
Especially
then,
like it.
because shout out Drake University for bending me over and boning me because I was gonna open up Microsoft Teams on Drake University account that I paid. Let me think for a second, like $200,000 to go to your
I
school,
can't get in my email.
and they logged me out of every Drake account that I have. I couldn't get onto my email. I got logged out of Microsoft Teams, all my Microsoft Outlook BS that I paid for in college, by the way. Forgot to mention that. So thanks a lot. Please stop sending me the emails for me to donate because not gonna happen for a long time.
Definitely not.
Definitely not gonna happen for a long time, if ever.
I don't.
So thanks for cutting me out, squeezing me out. Now I'm on a 40-minute time limit. I have a podcast. That's kind of a problem, Drake. Like that's kind of a problem. Okay. So thanks a lot.
Hey, but Drake, if you want to sponsor the pod, let us know.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor me and upgrade my membership, maybe I'll consider donating. But as of right now, I'm gonna report the emails as phishing or fraud or whatever it's called because I'm tired of seeing them. I also am getting like
You're
speaking
a
of
joy,
that,
David.
speaking of grinds my gears, I'll try to squeeze this in quick. It says less than a minute. I keep getting calls from my parents' college where they went asking me to donate money to them. They're like,
Jeez,
yeah, if it weren't for us,
really.
your parents would have never met. So do you mind donating money? And I let it go to voicemail. I never answer. And my
That's
parents are
funny.
like, you should call and like you should answer and tell them you don't go there. You never went there. I'm like, I don't even want to give them the satisfaction. I just deny every phone call.
You're not yeah, exactly. You're not even related to who they're looking for.
Not at all. Only like a football camp that I went to a couple years where everyone was getting swirly. So yeah, I'm definitely not donating any money there. So Alex, thank you for coming on. I want to get a proper closing before it ends abruptly on us. Craig, thank you as always. Hey, Alex, you're coming on next episode. I already made it set in stone. So we'll see you next time on Peaked in College. This was episode 30. It was a blast.
Appreciate
Thanks,
y'all.
boys.